have one. Will you be able to answer it?
Well, I'm going to be here up until 5. I'm going to walk through the questions that I have. If there is no time, I'm going to be very loyal to myself. 5 o'clock, I'm going to say goodbye because I have some other commitments to do. And that's something that I have to learn to be like
Yeah.
on that time. But you can then always send it to me, that I always will come back to that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Robina, is it okay? Um, if you got some questions, but there was one personal question.
Yes.
Okay.
Sige, siya.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it okay for you if I walk you through that personal question here? Because I think, again, it's a very powerful question. Even if it's very personal, is it okay for you if I share it in this safe place? You can put on your
I'll
mic.
just I'll just put my earphone.
Okay, I wait for
Okay.
you a second, or can you hear me?
Yeah, just 1 second. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so I will just repeat the question that Rabina had. So it's a question about her being a mom. And but again, finally, every question that we have comes back to frequency. I was just saying, Robina, that any question we have, any trigger we have, I hope that with all the examples that you're going to get, that we start to understand that it always comes back to frequency. It always comes back to the feelings. Okay. So it was okay, right? To ask to talk about that personal question, you being a mom with Nicole. Okay. Okay, so Robina is a mom, an amazing mom, and she has a beautiful daughter, and that's Nicole. I know her. I've seen her sometimes. Um, and her question is that she's kind of in a crossroad, Robina. She's starting to plan to let Nicole, that's her daughter, to study abroad. It is perhaps also a wish from Nicole. I'm not sure because I haven't been speaking with Robina for some time, but I do know that it has always been kind of a wish for Robina to go abroad herself and also to let go abroad her daughter. And she says it's a bit of a challenge for me because I can't let go of her. There we have a big one, okay? Because I cannot let get go of her. I would love her to stay beside me every day versus letting her study abroad. So we got two things going on here, okay? Um, and then she says she's now going first year university. She is open to study abroad. Is that what you meant? She's open. I am, yeah, she's open to go study abroad. It's me who sometimes thought, what if she stays here in Taiwan? So it's kind of like that crossroad, like I wanted to go, but I also wanted to stay here because, and I want you to go deeper into that. Is that okay for you? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, and then she said, Rubina also said, my mind is so confused. So we have several things that I pick up. Are you okay with the unwiring the
I'm
cable?
good. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So you hear me okay?
Mm.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, what is going on? I really hear you, okay? I'm a mom. I've been there, I've done that. But again, even if you're not a mom, there will be things that will resonate with you, okay? Um, and to be very honest, especially as the role as a mom, I'm still here in my own way, okay? It's very deeply human to be torn between wanting Nicole close as being a mom, okay, and wanting to follow her dreams. So I want you to understand that your confusion is totally normal. It's natural as the human experience. So that's already your first step to allow that, oh my God, I don't know. It's okay to feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it's very normal to love to have her close. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that I needed to learn as a mom. When my kid at 17, he said, I'm gonna go to Holland. When he just a week before he said, I'm gonna go and live with you. That was like, right? And I cried my eyeballs out. Okay. So again, it's natural. Okay. Because we want to protect them, we want to have them safe, you want to feel connected. Okay. So again, it's beautiful, normal. But let's slow this down and look even deeper, because what you truly want here is not really about where Nicole studies. It's about the feeling underneath. The feeling of knowing she's safe, knowing she's happy, knowing she's thriving, and knowing that your bond stays strong. Okay? But we go a bit deeper with that, because that feeling is what truly matters, or the feeling is what truly matters. And there's the powerful thing. You can choose that feeling no matter where she will be. So if Nicole is ready to open her wings, Robina, that is a reflection of how well you raised her. She carries you in her heart wherever she goes. Okay? Though even though our 3D reality sometimes make us think differently, you can choose that thought. Love does not shrink with distance. Love does not shrink with silence. My son's talking to me for a year, and my love, that love, and even his love for me, it did not get smaller. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But it took me a lot of work. Okay? Our love always grows, always expands, it transforms, and she will always know where home is. Even though sometimes my son, he's not showing that in the 3D world. I know he knows where home is.
Wow.
Are you still with me?
Yes.
Yeah. But I want to invite you to really get honest with yourself here. Okay. So, yes, you want Nicole to be safe. You want her to be happy. You want her to drive. Okay. That's what we do as loving moms. But why do you want that so badly? And I want you to go into that. And I also invite you to be open for something that you perhaps do not see yet. Okay? So you don't need to answer me. You don't need to say, oh, yeah, I agree with that. Just allow it to get in. Because what happens, Robina, when you know that she feels safe, that she feels happy and thriving, what happens with your feelings?
I'm happy.
Yeah, exactly. Because with everything that we want in life, if that is money, if that is a job, if that is a songwriter, if that is another job, if that is, I don't know, having a connection with my youngest son, why do I want that?
Yeah, to be happy.
For me to feel good. I'm not talking
Feel
about
good.
selfish feeling, but why do I want to travel? Because I believe that makes me feel good. Why do I want to coach? Because I know it makes me feel good. Okay? So that's the real truth, Robina. That's what we all do. With our kids, with our partners, with money, with work, with love, we use these things like a vehicle to try to secure how we want to feel. So that's when we come back. You did do the 3 days. I'm so sorry. With the 3 day frequency first, it always comes back to the feeling tone. And by the way, that's not wrong for everybody. That's the way that we are wired. That's being human. We have those emotions. Are you still with me?
Yes.
Okay, but what I want you, because this question is for everybody, okay? But what is the key here, ladies? The key is that we can start to feel those feelings inside ourselves first, even before Nicole goes or stays, even before I am that songwriter, even before I have a new job, even before I have a freedom of time and money. Does that make sense for everybody? That's what Neville Goddard teaches. That is what Mary teaches. That is what Bob Proctor teaches. That is what the Bible even teaches. That is what Jesus taught. Make sure you feel it before it comes into your 3D. Because if you wait for Nicole to give you those feelings, what happens?
Like the yeah. I mean, it won't, right, because it's not the other outer.
You stay dependent on your
Dependent.
outer circumstances. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you come up until here, right? Okay, so I want certain things. I have my crossroad. And now you become aware that finally what I want, obviously for her to have a thriving life, but why do I truly want that? So I feel good, right? But even though that isn't there yet, if in case, we can start to train our mind and then teach our body to feel those feelings inside yourself first. before Nicole stays with you or she goes.
Yes, yes.
Because if we don't do that, we stay dependent on our 3D current reality. And that's where comes in those 54,000 or even more unconscious, sneaky, unaware, hidden, unaware thoughts. And you will always feel wobbly through your kid. And if it's not through your daughter, it will be through your job. I mean, we know each other for some time, and you have had triggers, which that's totally normal. If it's not through your daughter, perhaps it's your work, perhaps it's your partner,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes,
You can relate to
yes,
that, right?
yes, yes.
Now, let me ask you some questions. If Nicole is driving, how would that make you feel? If she's happy, how would that make you feel?
Yeah, yeah, feel good, feel happy.
If you imagine her safe and happy, what feeling would that unlock in you?
Yeah, I feel good.
And could you begin to practice that feeling now before anything happens?
Yeah, did that before, right?
For sure.
Yes.
The thing is that it's so easy, and I always say first, it's so easy to fall back or to be pulled back by our old way of thinking because I'm just one thought away from going back to my old programming, which
True.
were and which popped up in your life through your work, with your coworkers, with your partner, with your kids. So I want
Yes.
everybody to see now what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk Robina through that framework: trigger, meaning, frequency, identity, shift, next best thought. Okay?
Mhm.
So the trigger, Robina. What is actually triggering you here? What is a trigger? Why do you feel that confusion? Why do you feel your mind confused and the crossroad? What is triggering you?
I'm not ready to let go to
Seeing
a
Nicole
person.
leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, letting her go. So letting her go, seeing Nicole leave, what would that mean? Would that mean that you don't see her every day?
Yeah, actually, cannot see video, but maybe in the video calls,
Sorry, I didn't
video
hear you.
call. Maybe on the video calls it might be okay, but not in person.
I didn't
Cannot
get
see
that.
him in person. Cannot see him in person. Cannot see him in person.
Okay, yeah, you cannot see her in person. So you don't see her every day. You can touch her. You cannot hug her, right?
Yes.
So that would be the first layer of the trigger. Is everybody agreeing with that? First, in our conscious part, it's like, okay, I wouldn't see her. I cannot hug her. I wouldn't see her in physics, right? But if
Yes.
we go a deeper layer, what could be underneath that?
Okay. I mean, might lose her.
Mm-hmm. You might lose her. And what does that mean, perhaps, for you?
So that means, oh, what do you call that? I forgot the word. Um, uh, yeah. I mean, the relationship, it goes away, right?
Yeah. Can I help you with
Yes.
some words? And you just say, like, you don't need to say, I agree with it. I'm just asking you to just let it sink in and let your
Yeah.
subconscious
Yeah.
belief system work with it. Okay. So could it be that a deeper layer would be, what if she doesn't need me anymore?
Yeah.
What if I'm left alone?
Uh,
What if I lose my place in her life?
mhm. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Can you resonate with that? And
Yes.
again, you
Yes.
don't need to agree with it now. I'm just not really asking you for an answer, but let even go deep, a little bit deeper, Robina, as well, because what I know of what we shared together, could this touch that old pain from your own childhood? The times that you felt unseen?
Yeah, because that's what I'm thinking before, right?
Mhm.
I really are trying my best to be together as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you remember, well, you obviously do remember what happened in your childhood, right? So could that be like that old pattern popping up from
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the old fear of abandonment?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
with your mom, the old fear of
Yeah.
rejection, of being forgotten,
Mm-hmm.
not feeling seen or perhaps understood. Can you see
Yeah.
that similar thing which is being triggered by your daughter going away? And could that be the reason why you're feeling confused and why you have those feelings? Can you at least
Yes.
relate a little bit with
But
that?
yeah, but this time it's me who's telling her to do that.
Okay, so telling her, not to telling her, but just going back to the trigger. Okay, so you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
lose her, the
Yes, yes.
that you felt. So what meaning are you giving these feelings? Like you said, if she goes away, I will lose her. That's literally what you said. Could
Yes.
that be the meaning that you're giving to this trigger? What's happening in your current reality?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm afraid to lose. Yeah. Afraid.
Yeah. So can you see that the trigger is, first of all, we think she leaving me.
Mm-hmm.
And the trigger is much deeper. Times that I felt unseen, losing my place in her life. What if I'm left alone? And then the
Mhm.
meaning that you're giving all to this is, if she goes away, I will lose her. Can you see
Mhm.
that the meaning that you give to the trigger, right, is what
Yes.
creates your feeling, not leaving her. She's leaving here, but it's not her leaving that makes you feel the way you feel. It's the meaning you give to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
trigger. Can you
yes,
see that?
yes. The meaning. The meaning. Yeah, the meaning.
And is it okay for you to go even deeper?
Uh-huh.
If she goes away, I will lose her. That were your words.
Mm-hmm.
Could it mean that what happens that if I'm afraid that she will kind of forget me? And if she forgets me or if she doesn't need me,
Mm-hmm.
could that mean that that means for me, like in my childhood, that I'm not valuable, that I'm not enough? Again, I'm not asking you to reconnect with that from now on because we're very deep. I just want you to allow this to sink in.
Okay.
I'm just asking you, do not directly, no, that's not it. I'm just asking
Mm-hmm.
you, open yourself up for the possibility that this could be a very deep layer.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Maybe if she grows and I lose her, what happens if she would forget me and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm not needed anymore as I'm needed now? Then that means if I feel I'm not needed anymore, then that triggers my I'm not worthy, I'm not enough,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Then
Yes.
might mean that I become invisible again, like I was once upon a time as a child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you believe those meanings, if you believe it, like, okay, if she goes away, I will lose her. That's the meaning
Mm-hmm.
that you just gave to
Yes.
trigger. When you believe those meanings, what is your frequency?
Not good. Down.
Okay. The frequency is contractive, but can you give it a name? This is the work that I'm talking about. When you practice with
Low. Yeah.
that, that's low. But can you give it a name? Can you give the frequency a name? I will lose her. Are you then? What are you then when you are to lose her?
Empty.
Empty. And what more?
Not. Yeah. Not the. Not the. Maybe. Not needed.
Not needed. So what emotion is beneath not needed? Invisibility, losing her. What are you?
Feeling. Feeling. Yeah. Abandoned.
Okay. And what is underneath all these things that you're mentioning? What emotion is underneath that? And it for me, it sounds
Unhappy.
okay.
Sad.
Go deeper. What are we?
Uh,
How does resonate fear,
fear.
worries,
Worries. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
powerlessness,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
sadness?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's very
Yes.
very important that we start to understand that fear is such a big emotion.
Mhm.
And fear creates the frequency, which is most of the time when we are not friends of fear. Because remember, fear, we can have fear without fear having us. Fear always pops up when we go into the unknown. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. Fear.
So what happens when your daughter goes away? It's known or it's unknown?
Unknown.
Unknown. And when you step into the unknown, what pops up?
Fear.
Yeah.
Fear.
And
Mhm.
when we are fearful, what pops up as well? Worries.
Okay.
And
Yes,
when we
yes.
are in that emotion, what are we empowering? Are we empowering the identity of power or the powerlessness?
Powerless.
Yeah. And we feel
Mhm.
sadness, and there is a sense of not enoughness.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. And now I'm going to ask you for the shift. What frequency would you rather stand in instead? Would you rather have fear, worry, sadness, not enough? Or what would you rather feel?
Faith, trust,
Faith, trust, something else?
joy, joy,
Joy,
love,
love, yeah. Calmness, trust,
calm.
faith, right? Can you see that those, the ones that we talked about just now, the powerless and the powerful, can you see that they are not on the same frequency? So
Yes.
if you want to feel trust, faith, joy, love, confidence, calmness, peace, if you want to feel those emotions and you wait for your outside circumstances to be able to feel that, can you understand that that's not coming from the inside out? And if you
Yes,
go
yes,
back, if
yes.
you go to the replay and you walk through this again, and you walk back to where I said, are you waiting for Nicole to provide you those emotions, or are you able to feel them right now before the changes have popped up?
Yes. Yeah, I understand.
Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
And your
Should be
identity,
coming from within.
yeah. And your identity, Robina. Who are you being when you hold those fears? What is the identity of who you are being when you step into afraid of being alone, of being not worthy enough, of being left alone?
Yeah. So that's powerless, powerless.
Yeah. Is that a mom who is trusting, or is that a worried mom who is afraid to let go?
Worried man.
Yeah. That's the identity that you are giving empowerment.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you in the identity of the woman who is having faith, showing faith to her daughter, or is she the woman who doubts she still needed?
Yes. Thank you.
And would you like to go even deeper?
I think I got it. I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I really got it. Thank you. Yes.
So what is the new identity that you could choose instead?
Happy, trust,
Yeah,
have faith, and yeah,
absolutely.
believe. Yes, I got it. Thank you.
And how, we're not finished yet, not that quick. And what is the shift? What is the shift that you could make?
The frequency, I mean, that the body frequency, the mindset.
And how does that show up in words? What can you do to make that shift an embodiment? What can you think instead of she's leaving me alone, I will be left alone? What is the words that you
Yeah,
literally use?
trust. I mean, I believe in her. Faith,
Okay.
so that
Yeah.
I will. I mean, I will change my perception.
Yes, but I'm not gonna let you go yet, Robina, because what we're doing now, that's the embodiment. So
Mhm.
yes, you get it. You get it, right? Oh, Judith has to go. Okay. So that's what we're talking about. Now we're talking about intelligence. We're talking about what you know. But now I want you to embodiment, and this is what a lot of people step out of, and that's what they do not do enough. So you get it. But now I'm asking you, so what is then the embodiment? How can you shift that frequency? What is the next
So act. Oh, this is the best. Act now. What's the best thought? I'm trusting. I'm trusting God. The universe has my back. I'm trusting that everything will go smooth, and God knows the best for me.
Yeah.
For her, yeah, too.
Yeah, and for you. I trust universe has my back. I trust Nicole is guided, protected, and thriving, right?
Yes.
Even though I'm still confused, which could be a next best thought, universe has my back, even though I'm still in a crossroad, our bond is unbreakable. These are the thoughts, which is the embodiment part. I'm safe to love her and I'm safe to let her go. How does that sound?
Yes.
These are
Yes. Yes.
thoughts, which is your job to reemplace them over and over and over again. That's when we start to embody what you already get. So it's not about only I get it, because I heard it a lot. I get it. But then the work is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Or like my next best thought can be, this is part of both of us becoming who we are meant to be. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does.
Yeah. So let me give you just a little bit more of feedback, okay? What you're seeing right now, and this moment, Nicole leaving, your mind feeling confused, wanting to hold on, these are reflections of how you have felt and thought before this moment. This is not happening because of Nicole. Current circumstances are not the cause, they are the effect. That's the law of the cause and the effect. Does that make sense? Your frequency, the energy of your beliefs and feelings, that is the cause. And then the results that we keep magnetizing, that we go through as the 3D, that's what finally is the effect. So if you allow your current reality to define your feelings, like what happened with your daughter, which is totally natural, give yourself the space to feel it, but then make sure you go to this. As long as your current reality, you allow it to define your feelings, you keep magnetizing more of the same. Okay?
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's how the mirror works. It will keep repeating what you haven't healed yet. Leave me a second. I'm going to mute. Oh no, she is muted. Who is not? Oh, is that in your place, Rubina? I thought it was Kimberlite. Okay. Hey, Lisa. And this is what I mean when I say life is a mirror. So right now, Rubina, Nicole is a mirror for you. She's reflecting back to you parts of your own story. Okay? Places where you have feared being left. What happened in your life when you were very young? Places where you have doubted your worth. Places where you believed you might become invisible if you let someone go. And that is not here to punish you, okay? But it's all here for you to use and then to heal. Does that make sense? Okay, awesome. All right. Okay, thank you so much for guiding you through that. If you have any question popping up about that, just send it to me in the messenger, okay? All right, and then there is a question of Alice. Alice isn't here, but she wrote down, and this also for everybody. She said, like, after the 3 days, she prepared one of her favorite dishes and she wanted to eat it. But then she couldn't swallow a single bite because her thoughts went all over the place. And what used to be a delicious meal turned into something that made her feel, how do you say that? Nauseous, like vomiting, right? So she asked me if it's possible that by becoming aware through the 3 days, um, if that's like getting yourself in a physical discomfort, if that is possible, or like feeling nauseous or even vomiting. And then she asked me if she needs to keep repeating the 5 steps until she feels completely at peace. Well, first of all, I'm not sure, but perhaps you have walked through it. I did. It's absolutely possible that the more that you become aware, your system feels off. Okay, so nauseous, loss of appetite, even a sense of wanting to throw up. These are totally natural, they're real. because it's a natural way that your body processes energetic shifts. Not that time ago, not that long time ago, I had a big awareness, a moment, and I was, how do you say that, shaking in bed. I was sweating. It was crazy. My partner wanted to bring me to the hospital, but I just knew, I just felt that it was something about something that I did emotionally. Okay. So yes, that's absolutely, Alice, if you're going to watch the replay, it's absolutely normal. Okay. And no, you do not have to repeat these 5 steps 24 hours a day. It isn't about monitoring every second. We cannot do that. It's not possible, but it is about becoming aware, seeing what is happening, allowing it, and then consciously choosing where you put your focus moment to moment. Okay, so I prepared something similar that I did with Robina, but because Alice isn't here, I'm going to walk us through it. I'm going to give Alice and you guys my feedback. Um, and then Alice, if you're going back to the replay, you can just pause at every question and then walk yourself through it. Okay. So when I shared about my trip to America, I could have focused on why it didn't work, or what I did wrong, or what did I miss in my manifestation. But because I was aware of my frequency, I choose not to let the fact that the plane didn't take off with me define me. It took me some effort, it took me some willingness, but I was able to stay in the frequency of my future self, who would kind of say, okay, it was not, or it is divine timing. I choose to trust this. This is what it looks like when everything is being created, and it's perfect timing. The same with my knee. I have a lot of pain in my knee, but you know what? It's getting better each and every day. It's crazy. It's magic. It's so beautiful. But what am I doing? I don't keep feeding the pain with my attention. I literally, consciously, intentionally, I choose to focus on what do I want. I want to hike. I want to feel strong. I want to feel empowered. So every time when I notice the pain, I take my attention off it and I literally focus on what I do want. Okay. So in this case, Alice, you can do exactly the same with feeling nauseous or wanting to vomit. You do not have to deny what you feel. I don't deny my pain. All right. You do not have to force it. That's also a question of you, Robina. You don't need to force it away. You don't need to ignore it. You just see it. You accept it. And then you decide what to do with your focus. Okay, so I want to walk Alice through this with the 5 steps that I just did with you, Robina. Okay. And again, also Alice, please stay open, because sometimes I will offer you things that you might not yet see or feel. And our first reaction might be, no, that's not me. I don't have that. But I do want to ask you to stay open so you allow it to sink in and trust that your body, your subconscious, and your energy field will work with it in their own divine timing. I hope that that makes sense. So, for example, Alice, the trigger. I'm now going to answer for her, okay? So, Alice, please stay open, because perhaps I'm not accurate, but because you're not here, I'm just going to trust my intuition. So, the way that I see it from my perspective, okay? So, what triggered you with the question that you asked me? It may be that you say the nauseous, perhaps the shock of not being able to eat, right? Perhaps your thoughts that you said, they were going everywhere. So your thoughts spinning after the session, right? But now I want you to go a bit deeper, even if it feels kind of like not logic or subtle. So ask yourself, could there be a fear that you touched something too big? Okay, so we had a lot of information, and everybody is on their journey in a certain level of consciousness. And went very deep in the 3 days. So could there be a fear that you touched something too big? Could there be a fear of I'm not in control? I had that. When I got some new information and my level of awareness wasn't there yet to really get it, oh my God, I felt so frustrated so many times. And definitely a fear of I'm not in control, I don't get it, I don't know how to work with this was definitely one of mine. Okay? Perhaps it was something like, I'm not getting it yet. This is too much. This is too difficult. And Alice as well, especially, you know your own old patterns, okay? Do I have to do all this work? Is this really what I need to do to get me to the place where I want to go? Well, yes, it's not something we do once. It's every day, every minute, every breath we take, okay? And not everybody is willing to put in the effort. Maybe even it could be a fear that if you change too much, you might lose something familiar. And that one is very deep because most of us would consciously say, no, I want everything that I wish for. Yeah, but remember, your subconscious belief system wants to hold on to the familiar. And even though it destroys us, our subconscious belief system prefers to stay in the familiar, even though it breaks us apart. Okay, so these are very deep. And again, everybody, Alice, you don't need to answer them right away. You don't even have to believe them right away. I just want you to sit with them and do not rush to reject them. Simply allow the possibility that they exist and trust that your body and your energy will sort it out in time. It can be a week, it can be a day, it can be months. Okay? Now, then the next question is the meaning. What meaning are you giving this trigger? And again, I'm going for my intuition, okay? So perhaps you're saying, oh my God, I throw up and this and that. What is happening with me? Is this normal that my body reacts like that? So we can think and believe, because we see it in our 3D, in our current reality, something is wrong with me. Maybe I'm not handling this in the right way. Maybe it means that I'm failing and I'm not doing it wrong. I'm not doing it right. Okay? And now again, I would love you to open up just a bit more. So let's go a bit deeper, like we did with Robina. Is it possible that there is an even deeper meaning underneath? Could there be a thought like, this is too difficult for me to understand? I've been there, done that. Maybe I will never get it. I've been doing so many formations, so many books, so many courses. Maybe it's just not made for me. Do I have to do all this? This is so overwhelming. And again, like with Robina, and she was able to see that, all those beliefs and thoughts, even if they look like 3D facts, I don't care. They hold you in a frequency that is low, right? But again, you don't need to agree with what I'm sharing here with you. I would just like to ask you to sit with it and breathe into it. Okay, and then we go to the step number 3, which is frequency. When you believe that meaning, like I asked you, Robina, when you believe that meaning, what is your frequency? When I believe that maybe I will never get it, or I'm not doing it right, or maybe I'm doing it wrong, what is the frequency that you're holding on to? Can it be shame? Can it be fear again, like Robina? Fear is a big one. It's almost always there. Especially remember, when you step into the unknown, fear is always there. There are a lot of people that say, oh, no, I'm not afraid. And like, why don't you just allow the fear to be in your life? Because it's a natural part of being a human. Okay. So probably your frequency will be somewhere like fear, worry, perhaps shame. I've been doing so many courses and I'm still not getting it. For example, what about frustration? That was a big one for me. Confusion. Robina has that one. My mind feels confused. Hey, that's not wrong, okay? It's just becoming aware of them so you can do something with it. But again, we have been trained to believe that if we have those emotions, then that's a wrong thing. And I want you to start to understand that that's not wrong. It's just a vibrational indicator telling you that you're not aligned and you're not in the channel of the frequency of your vision, of your dream. Does that make sense? So then the next question is, like I did with Robina, what frequency would you rather stand in instead? Maybe it's compassion for yourself, giving time to time. Maybe it's like we did in the 3 days. People meant curiosity. That's such a good frequency to stay in. Be curious. Become curious about the things that are not working. Openness, that's a very powerful one. Maybe it's calm, trust, right? And then we step into step number 4, the identity. Who are you being in the moment of the overwhelm? What identity are you stepping in? Are you then a person like, I'm too fragile for this? Are you empowering the one who always struggles? Or are you empowering the one that believes, like, I cannot get it? I'm the one who fails to heal. Are you empowering the powerless one, or are you empowering the identity of the powerful one? Obviously, you're in the powerless one. Does any of that resonate with everybody here, even if that is not your question? Because again, you can replace that for everything in your life. Can you also see, Robina, that we're walking through the same steps as I did just with you, but the only thing which is different is the details. But finally, it's not about the details. The details are just a mirror. They're just a vehicle through which you can see what is inside of you that is still there to be healed. Right? So now, what new identity could Alice consciously choose to change her empowerment? Right? For example, I'm the one who allows herself to heal, even when it's messy. I love that one. I'm allowed to go through this, even if it's a big chaos right now. I'm the woman who trusts her body's wisdom, even if I don't fully understand it. I'm choosing to empower the identity of the woman who honors what comes up and moves through it. Like the bisons, they go through the storm instead of running away from it. And then we go to step number 5, the shift. Right? And then from the shift, you automatically go to the next best thought. So the shift could be, hey, I'm going to choose to trust my body, that my body is wise. I choose not to be defined by temporary discomfort. I choose to allow discomfort in my life because it's part of the process. You cannot go through this process and manifest without the discomfort. You cannot. It gets easier, but it will never be completely away. Okay, and even though a next best thought, even though there is this discomfort, right? I choose to believe that I can do it. I can process this at my own pace. I choose to believe that I'm not broken. I will choose to believe that I will get better in this each and every day because I'm learning. And it takes time, it takes energy, and it takes the willingness to put in the effort, right? So, Alice and everybody, please hear me clearly. You do not need to repeat these steps every minute of the day. I think that's just not really human. But our power is in becoming aware, because when we are aware, we can shift. That's when you can decide to accept what is, even if you don't like it. You just accept that is what is. I don't need to like it. I don't need to agree with it, but I do accept that my reality is right now what's going on in my life. If that is throwing up, if that is not knowing what to do, if that is my daughter is perhaps going abroad, it doesn't matter. Does that make sense? You can, when you are aware, you can absolutely every time shift. You can redirect. And that's our job. Our job is when we are aware, redirect. If you're aware, redirect. Aware, redirect. Aware, redirect. And the more you do that, the more you start to, the neuroplastic, plastic, we can reform that. We can literally rewrite and reprogram our mind, our belief system, if we do this job, right? So that was the question of Alice. And one more thing, this is not about fighting discomfort or pretending everything is fine. It's not. It's about gently witnessing what is there, giving it a new loving meaning, only if and when you are aware of that. Take 3-5 minutes to walk through the steps or whatever framework works for you. And it is not easy and it takes time. Okay, but I do so promise that even when it's messy, it becomes easier, right? And then give me a second. There was another question. Give me a sec. Give me a second. What time is it? Okay. Okay, so another question is, okay, what does people are our mirror really mean? It doesn't mean that you are exactly same as them, okay? It means that they can reflect back to you something that you believe about yourself, something that you expect from life, something that you're still healing. We got an amazing example with you, Robina, right? Or even something that you still deeply desire. So, for example, if you keep meeting people who do not value you, right, that might mirror where you haven't fully valued yourself yet. And that's for me still a job for me to be done. It gets less and less. But the other day I had an issue with my job. Now, there is a very big difference, and I want you to understand that. You can meet people who do not value you. In the second that you do not make it your personal thing, when you do not get triggered by it, then it's healed. I hope you understand that. But as long as you get triggered by it and you allow that to define the way you feel, then there is still something mirroring back that you haven't fully valued yourself yet. And that's a good thing. So, are people our mirror? Yes. They absolutely mirror what is going on inside of you, conscious or unconscious. But it's all about the way that you walk through it. Does that make sense? So when you walk through that, and I did that with myself, like what triggers you about other people? Is it their criticism? Is it their rejection? Is it their success? Is it what they told you? What triggered you? And if you go deeper, you can ask yourself, what does that show you about you seeing yourself? Is there something familiar there? Why did you feel triggered because they acted in a certain way or they told you or said you something? It's never about them. Never, ever, ever. And I'm not talking about ignoring or putting limits. I mean, we can put boundaries, okay? But it's very important, beside the boundaries, what do you do with it? How much are you being triggered by it? So what meaning, that's step number 2, what meaning do you give to how they behave? Oh, they don't love me. They don't care. They're better than me. And then I go even deeper. And that's what I do with myself. Because if I believe that they don't love me, if I believe that they don't like me, if I believe that they do not understand me, what does that say about me? That's not about them. Why do I still need to be understood? Why do I still need to be liked by everybody? Maybe that mean that I'm not good enough by myself? Do I need that appreciation and that validation by other people for me to feel visible? Does that make sense? That's when you go very, very deep. But a lot of times in the first instance, we go something to, no, that's not my problem. I don't have that. Do not reject these deep layers of subconscious, of conscious that quickly, because I promise you, it always goes back to your belief system. If not, it wouldn't trigger you. And if you believe that meaning, like I'm not visible, maybe I'm invisible, they don't like me, I'm not likable enough, I'm not lovable enough. When you believe that meaning, what is your frequency? Fear, I'm not enough. Yeah, it's low, it's contractive, but if you give it a name, hurt, shame, sadness, frustration, right? But what is it that I would love to feel? I would love to feel empowered. I would love to feel trust, curiosity, openness. That's when I choose intentionally. That is what makes me shift my frequency. So who are you being when you see people as a negative mirror? And as a negative, I also mean when you feel sad or frustrated. Okay, Robina, as well with your daughter. So the identity that I'm, in that case, that I'm empowering is the identity of I'm the person who's judged. I'm the person who is not being seen. I'm the person who is always overlooked. I'm the person that is always invisible. And could I choose a new identity? Oh, yeah. Right then, as I'm aware of that, when that happened in my job, I'm someone learning to see truth with love. I'm someone who uses every reflection to grow stronger. So when I saw that reflection in that situation, I was able to feel it, but then I said, no, pause, Susie. You're empowering the powerless. So what am I doing? I'm using that opportunity, I call it an opportunity, to grow stronger. So then what could you shift in right then? I didn't say to myself, I see that circumstances, I see that person's behavior as a mirror, but I'm not going to make it my truth anymore. I'm not allowing that to define my frequency, and that takes a lot of effort. And then I can look for the lesson without blaming myself. I'm doing something wrong. I did something wrong. I'm not likable enough. So no matter what other people show me, I can make sure that I choose to remember my word. I'm worthy just by the fact of being here on the world. Does that make sense? So even when people mirror something painful, what could be the next best thought that you can use? And with the next best thought, you create a new frequency because the thought creates the emotion. So even though I'm not controlling it completely, I choose to believe this as an opportunity. Or I can say, I can choose my own frequency. Or I can, and I have to tell myself that a lot of times, their behavior does not define me. I'm not allowing that to define my emotions. I literally tell that my mind. So, yes, people can be a mirror, but that doesn't mean that you need to become what they project. That's one of my biggest awareness. That's one of my biggest powers. So yes, Robina, they can be a mirror, but it doesn't mean you need to become what they project. It has been up until now because you believed it, and that's what you keep magnetizing, and universe keeps you showing up that what is inside of you, but you are free to shift that. You can choose. If you are able to see it, you got an option. And that's how you move from reacting to creating, right? So there was another question, but I will send it in another video. We got only 3 minutes. There was also another question very shortly. And the question was, how long do I need to hold the new frequency? Okay. So as long as it's needed, as long as it takes. I know it sounds a little bit like, yeah, but Susie, I don't care. I mean, I don't know what your programming is. I don't know your willingness. I don't know how much of time and energy you put in to be able to shift and to reemplace that. So how long do I need to hold on that frequency, that new frequency? As long as it takes until it starts to feel normal. So yeah, if that means doing it over and over and over and over, there is no timer here. The only thing that is here is practice. Does that make sense? Right? And another question is, what if I still feel sad or frustrated or whatever emotion that might be, even when I shift my thoughts? Well, it's kind of the same. First, you are part human being. And feeling sad, feeling frustrated, feeling anything that we don't like, it's part of that human experience. So I learned that crying and feeling overwhelmed and frustrated, that's okay too. But then I think it was Mary, I'm not sure anymore, but one of those incredible teachers, they then taught me, and it took me some to really understand that So allow the feeling, but don't build a house in that feeling. Pitch a tent. Keep redirecting. Oh, there I go again. Redirect. Oh, there I go again. Redirect. Right? Abraham Hicks explained it so well. She says, she says, the more you do it, you kind of go like, you're here, you're aware of it, and then you choose another frequency and you are being pulled back. You do it again, you're being pulled back. You're doing it again, you're being pulled back. You're doing it again, you're being pulled back. But then you do it again and you stay 5 seconds longer. And instead of going there a long time, you're going to be quicker into the other frequency that you choose consciously. Does that make sense? So, yes, it's natural. Yes, allow the feeling, but don't stay there. And that's where it comes in. Pain is, how was that? Struggling. I don't remember that one, but you choose to allow it to keep being like a pain, like a struggle, or you choose to see it as a moment and then you walk on, right? Another one, and that's kind of my own question that I always had, what if nothing changes in my outer world? And I learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza, he just says, you just didn't do it enough. That is his answer. And I love that. Yeah, it's harsh, but I'm very open to learn, and he's so right. Because I absolutely believe that the laws of the universe, they work if we work them. So as long as nothing changes in my outer world, right? That just means, and I'm going to say you something, and you can write that down. Your outer world is old news. What I mean by that it's a shadow of past thoughts. Results always catch up. That means that your current reality is always coming after the frequency that you have been sending out. Does that make sense? So we have a certain thoughts that creates a vibration. That's the energetic frequency that we send out. That's what the universe picks up. And because of that, we magnetize in our 3D current reality the results that we see, feel, taste, hear, and touch. That's the observing, what we do through the 5 human senses. Okay? So if we start to understand that my current reality is old news, it belongs to the past. If I practice to stay in my new frequency, the one that I consciously choose, then the results that will follow through that frequency will be different than the one that I see now. But we are so used, Robina, because her daughter goes away. How do I allow to be defined by feeling confused, which is low? My emotions, how much do I give control to my circumstances to allow my emotions to go to the contractive, low energetic frequency? How much do I allow not having my loving partner or not having clients or not having whatever that might be? How much do I allow my current reality to control the way that I feel? And as long as we, most of the time unconsciously, we allow to be pulled back by our old patterns, we keep on seeing several results similar, but it will pop up in our work, with our partner, in our job, with our kids, in the family. It is always different, but the base is always the same. Does that make sense? Okay, and I have 2 questions more, and then I'm going to say goodbye. But what if I don't even know what my future self would do? That's a very honest question too, right? Just ask yourself and allow yourself to step into that infinite power of you, because she knows. What would a woman who trusts do? Robina, what would a woman who trusts and have that unwavering faith that universe has her back, what would she do? It doesn't have to be perfect, but improvise. What would she do? What would she allow? What would she allow to happen? Would she allow the unknown to just come? Would she allow that feeling of discomfort to come? Would she allow her daughter to fly with whatever she might learn from that? My son went to Holland. I cried my eyes out for literally, I think, several months. I allowed that to happen. I had no other choice. But I did not let him to follow his dream. He wanted to go to Holland because he was able to get himself to be a tattoo artist. I don't know if you see some pictures that I shared in my stories. That's his work nowadays. Oh my God, he's such an amazing artist now. And I got to learn through that several things and even more because then he decided to step into silence and I got another opportunity to learn from. I can say it now like that, even laughing. I got another opportunity to learn from. Is it easy? No. Do I like it? No. Do I agree with it? Hell no. But is it my reality right now? And is having universe my back? The woman who trusts that everything is working out the way it is while it's being created? Oh yeah, that's me, absolutely. So whatever happens that I don't like, let it come. And I will be willing to feel the discomfort. And while I feel the discomfort, I will learn through it. Does that make sense? Right? So these were some of the questions. I had one question of myself I put in. I hope that walking Alice through it and Robina through it. I saw you send an email, Lisa. I will come back to that question. I will, because I love that. I just saw it not at a time. I didn't read it, but I saw you send an email. So I will come back to that. So I will record that and I will send that in a WhatsApp. Kimberly, if you have a question, I hope, Lisa, do you allow your email? You have a question, right, in that email or something, right? Do you allow me to share that with the group so everybody can, or you want it to be private?
That's uncomfortable, but I think that it might be helpful also for others, so that's fine.
That's a huge awareness, right? Because this is what you just said. It feels not comfortable, though I'm willing to do that. Okay, thank you so much. Then I will, because finally, it's not about the details. It's not about Alice details. It's not about Robina's details. Kimberly has a question too. It's not about our details. It's about what we choose as what identity are we going to empower? And that's where is the embodiment. Okay, thank you. Okay, I will.
So I know you gotta go.
Yeah.
But just based on what you said today,
Yeah.
like I don't know if my question will be like it's not really a question, but I just want to make sure I interpreted you right. So I'm triggered. I have a doctor, he's really bugging me. I don't like how he's treating me. I have to go see him tomorrow. And I don't know anything about the person giving me the IV. If this scared part, I will go anyway. I will choose to say, I trust this is all going to work out. Is this what you're saying? I don't need to empower the part that is, no, I'm not going to get this unless I know everything about this doctor, unless I know how safe he is, unless like
Yeah.
I just go and I get it.
Yeah, absolutely. The trigger is one thing, and then you get what is a trigger, and then go deeper. I mean, is it really the doctor that's triggering you, or that you don't know if he's trustable, or
Not
is
a hospital. And if I
yeah,
go
or
into
whatever, a
anaphylactic shock,
hospital, a doctor, it doesn't
I
matter.
could die. I'm worried I'm going to die. Like I'm worried I could go into anaphylactic shock.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's Kimberly, that is, and allow me, and then I truly have to go. That
Yeah.
is the deeper layer. Is that really the trigger, the doctor, the hospital, or is that a fear that is going deeper inside of Kimberly that she
Right.
has of something going on? Does that make sense?
That,
So send
yeah.
me the one and I will walk you through it, okay? But that's the thing. Is it really the doctor? Because if that should be the doctor, then everybody should have the same trigger that you have. Does that make
Right.
sense? But that's
Yeah.
not the thing. There is something much more deeper that is from your belief system that is creating the trigger. And then the trigger comes the meaning. So what meaning do you give to it?
I
I'm
am unsafe.
that I'm unsafe, that I'm dying. Oh my God. Wow, that's for me, that's really interesting, right? So
Oh,
that's
it's
trigger.
painful.
Then you have
Okay.
the meaning. And just continue, right? The meaning. So what frequency are you in? Well, that's a big four-letter
Terror.
fear, terror, absolutely. So don't make it like going into like, oh, no, 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 trigger. What's the meaning? I'm unsafe. That's a big one, right? Because you're going to step into something that is unknown. Fear pops up,
Um,
right?
and I told them I was going to sue them, and now I have to go, and I feel they don't like me.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. That's it. So that has nothing to do with the doctor. That's your old program because that, my sweet, amazing Kimberlite, that pops up in a lot of other places that we talked about too. Do you agree? That they don't
But I
like me.
told them I'd sue them. Why wouldn't they? Why would they give me good treatment? They would treat me terrible if I said that.
Yeah, but can you see just walk with me, right? Can you see that do they like me? That has nothing to do with them. That is something that is an old pattern that has been popping up in other circumstances in your life. Do you agree?
And that's related to if I said this and they don't like me, then they'll hurt me or something. Yeah.
Exactly, because once upon a time, somewhere in your infant, something happened. You don't need to figure out where it comes from. But for me as a coach, the way that I work with people, I want them just to understand that somewhere, sometime, something has been triggered that is still inside. And because my aroundness is a mirror of what I still have inside, then through my friends, through my relationships, through anything, hospital, doctor, I don't care, that is coming back as a reflection of something that is still needed to be healed, which is amazing. And that's
Okay.
why you have, okay, so you have
I
the trigger.
I'd like to work with you on that because I know exactly what it is now. I know exactly in my childhood and I don't know how to change it.
Well, that's the embodiment, and that's exactly the 5 steps. But that's where our mind goes from, yeah, okay, so what do I do? Well, go out of the logic. Walk yourself through those steps. Thousands of a day. I swear to you, it's
So
sweaty.
what could my
It's
mind say now that I realize somebody's not going to hurt me just because they don't like me? How could I reframe that?
even though I still struggle with some beliefs, I choose to believe that I'm getting better in this. I started like that. And that's the work. You literally have to say that to yourself
Yeah.
a hundred
But
of
it's not
times.
going, oh, they're not going to hurt me. I'm not telling myself that.
Yeah, you don't say they're not going to hurt me because your mind thinks in images. So it doesn't have an image for the nut, it has an image for hurting. Because if I think about hurting, I see myself crapping from pain. So that's why people say, don't think about a pink elephant, and everybody is seeing the pink elephant. But because there is not an image about nut, there is an image of the pink elephant, but there it doesn't exist an image of nut. So when
So
I
it's going to
say,
go well. It's going to go well, I
yeah,
think. Yeah.
even though I still listen, when and then I go, but I can stay with you 3 hours more. So this is my
No,
hand. Okay,
I
listen.
just want to know how I don't feel this panic right now, what I visualize when we hang up.
Listen, stay with me.
Yeah.
These are my fingers. You have the 3 fingers. Work with them. This is where you are. That's a trigger. I don't care if it's the doctor, the hospital, whatever. Okay? You give it a meaning. This is a trigger. You give it a meaning. Because of that meaning, you step into a frequency, terror, fear. Okay? Then, when you are in that frequency, you are empowering an identity of you. They always hurt me. I don't know if they like me, whatever. That's your identity, right? Then it's our job to become so aware of that. Like, okay, so what's the frequency I want to feel? I want to feel empowered, strong, feeling helped. I don't know, calm, peace, right? But that's not the frequency you're in. You're aware of that. That's the work. You don't need to go further. So you're here. And then you say, okay, I am empowering the identity of my powerless. That's this finger, okay? And then you say, okay, the next best thought. Normally, we have learned, Louisa Hay and all those amazing people, I'm not afraid, or I'm the best, or I'm so good, positive affirmation. Well, they didn't work for me because when you are in the terror frequency, that's that one, it's just too difficult to jump to the amazing identity. I cannot do that. I was not able to do that. I felt more frustration. So your work is now, you are aware of where you are. You have an amazing capacity to be able to see where you are. And that's a victory on its own. And then from this place, you just go a little frequency up on that. So what works for me is I mention what is triggering me. In your case, even though I feel afraid, my mind likes to hear that because it's kind of like I still confirm what my mind wants to hear, right? So I say, even though I'm afraid, even though I don't trust, I choose to believe I'm getting better in this because I'm learning, right? That is just 1 millimeter of a frequency softer than the thought I had before. And that's embodiment. And that's the work, right? And that's when you start to shift. And then you said it yourself. I'm stepping into something unknown. I don't know this doctor. I don't know the hospital. Fear pops up. That's normal. Allow
Yeah.
fear to be in the car, but
Yeah,
make
but
sure
can
it's in
I
the bed.
visualize something positive? Like, do you suggest I have a positive image in my head of me sitting there relaxed, calm?
Well, you can do that if that works for you, but
I don't know. Yeah.
sometimes an image doesn't really work for people because they cannot connect. So what I then do is, how would you like to feel, Kimberly? Would you like to feel terror and not trusting, or do you want to feel, what do you want to feel?
I want to feel that even if I threatened and even if I said I would sue them,
Stop,
that they're still going to give me good treatment.
stop. What do you want to feel?
They're going to give me good treatment, even if, yeah,
Stop. What do you want to feel?
then I'm safe. They're going to give me
That's
good
another
treatment.
one.
Yeah.
Safe. What do you
Yeah.
want to feel more?
I just want to feel safe.
Safe. And when you feel safe, how do you feel? Do you feel not good or do you feel good?
Oh, I feel good.
Yeah. And do you feel chaos or calmness and peace?
When I know somebody is caring for me, I feel good. Peace.
Okay, be careful. When I know somebody cares for me, you are, without being aware of it, you are depending on your circumstances. I want you to feel it before somebody shows you they care about you. I see you. Good work. Okay. So before you have somebody that shows you to care about you, I want you to get into the feeling tone of that feeling that you think you will have only when somebody shows you who cares for you. So in my case, I want to feel safe. I want to feel calm. I want to feel peace. I want to feel empowered. So I want you to close your eyes after this class and just allow yourself that future Kimberlite when she would be feeling calm, peace, lovable, beautiful, strong, empowered, safe. How would she feel before she gets it? Like I said to Rubina, before you get what you think you need to feel it, I want you to start to understand, and that's the embodiment, to start to teach your body to feel it before you have it. Because when you start to teach your body to feel it before you have it, bam, there is where the laws of the universe start to be able to send you what you're magnetizing into your 3D. It's that easy. I'm laughing. It's not that easy, but it's that simple. But we are so triggered to our 3D world. And I see your face. Just breathe into it. Right now, you pause, you breathe in. That's when your nervous system starts to calm down. And then you go, you take the 5 steps. Okay, what's my trigger? Oh, I'm not getting it. This is too much. Okay, allow that. What does it mean that you're
I'm
giving?
afraid tomorrow. I'm afraid of anaphylaxis. I'm afraid this is not in a hospital. I
Yeah.
don't like this doctor. He's not attentive.
And as long as you are empowering that Kimberlite, I cannot help you there. And this is
Really.
going to sound very harsh. Okay, that's your old program.
But I have a
So
choice to get it in a hospital and wait.
you, what I suppose for you to do, because you're going again to your 3D, you're back in your 3D again. Whatever that it is that is supposed for you to be, make sure that you feel it before it gets there. But
Okay.
again, you're stepping into something unknown and your nervous system now is activated. And when your
Yeah.
nervous system is being activated, your survival mode is activated as well. And you can only see the worst scenario. So if you truly want to shift it, pause, breathe. That's when you put your nervous system, you calm it down, and then you sit down, you make yourself a cup of tea, and you say, it's enough. I'm not going to empower the powerless identity of mine because I'm doing that over and over. I want to shift. And even though I don't do it perfectly, I choose to believe I'm getting better in it. So even if it's just
Okay.
for 1
I'm
minute
gonna,
that
what
you're
I'm
getting
gonna
better
do.
in it,
That's what I'm gonna do.
yeah,
Thank you. I
you're
don't want
already
you to
doing
go
it.
longer. I know you're gone way over. I want to respect
Yeah,
that.
but that's my
Thank you.
decision, and I know myself, but I'm gonna go now. So
Yeah.
so I hope
Thank
that
you.
that served, Kimberline. And
Well,
this
it does because I was in a terror and
up until now, girl, don't
yeah,
mention
okay.
it again, or I will come there and kick some asses. You're a bit far away, but just focus on something that makes you feel good. If that
I'm
isn't,
gonna do that right
if that
now.
is your
I'm
dog,
gonna try to get into that feeling.
yeah, if that is me kicking you asses, I don't care. Just think
No,
about
I'm
a
gonna
focus
try
that
this.
makes you feel better,
Can
okay?
you? I want the song "Let Them." I'm gonna go to Voe.
Okay, cool. Oh, you called it already, Vui. That's so cool.
Voe, yeah,
All
amazing.
right. Okay, Lisa, I'm coming back to your question. Whatever you want, you can come back or you can go back to the replay, Kimberly, what we just shared. Thank you so much. And I love you so much. And whenever you want to share something, you got me just a message away. Okay.
Thank you guys.
Bye bye, Rubina, Lisa, Kimberly, Alice, Judith, Gail,
Thank you so much. It
Stephanie.
already answered my question.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm doing this process and I was like, oh my God, I see it. Thank you.
That's what it's all about, Lisa. It's
Yeah.
not about you becoming more intelligent, especially those who already study it. But why do we need a coach a lot of times? And why do coaches need a coach? Because so often we are in our own bottle, and even
Yeah.
we know it, we just need that reminder. Like, what was it again? Oh yeah, shit. And then we need somebody that kicks asses. And then, right? And
Yeah.
then we're being pulled back over and over. But the more you practice this, I promise you, the better you will get into it. I promise you. Okay? Okay, amazing women. I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rovina. Have an amazing day, girl. You're going to sleep now? Oh, wait, I'm going to stop recording.